I'm going to start recording the call so that anybody who couldn't join us today can jump on with us at their convenience. We will be emailing a link out for the call so that if you need to go back and re-listen to anything, you'll have that opportunity. For those of you who can see my computer, I am in the process of getting it to present my desktop so that you'll be able to see the document that I'm going to walk through with us. All right, so let's see here. All right, if somebody who is seeing this over the computer can tell me if you can see Closure Packet Manual Relay Center from your end.
I can see it.
Okay, wonderful. All right, this is the cover page for the document that everyone should either have received or be receiving at their NCW Prep Day. And we're going to walk through some of this to have me have a chance to explain it firsthand to everyone. But the first thing I really want to do is just say why this is so important as far as the accuracy of what we're doing with all of the paperwork and process to everything. And I love this example that Brandon thought through earlier this year of just saying if on average every drop-off location, let's say, was only off on their count by 5 shoeboxes, which 5 shoeboxes when you're dealing with hundreds or thousands doesn't sound like a big number. But if that happens and we have 4,294 drop-off locations across the United States this year, that would be a numerical difference of 21,470 shoeboxes, which is a very huge number. And when you break it down, when we're having the distribution outreaches, it's averaging about 100 children per event. And so we would be missing out on 215 outreach opportunities, which is 21,470 gospel opportunities, just because of simple and avoidable clerical mistakes. And when he shared that example with me, of course, I'm passionate about this because this is what I do every day. But when he shared that example, it really just put it into perspective for me. And so I see you all as my partners in the field. You all are out there greeting these donors, getting the data, and giving it to my team so that we can take it and run with it for what we need to do from our end. And just to give you perspective of the scope of what we're looking at as a region, we have 56 collection centers at this point in our region, and we're going to have closure packets that they're receiving from 322 relay centers. So a total of 378 drop-off locations are all sending their paperwork in to me and my administrative team. And our office then has about 15 days to process everything that we need to do with this and turn it around for what Boone is needing from us for data. And so your partnership and accuracy on your teams really enables my team here, our team, to be able to meet the deadlines with excellence, which is what I think all of our goals are. We want the kids to get the boxes, but we've got to make sure we've got the data to relay to our national leadership teams about how many boxes they're expecting to make sure everything works as it should. So my goal is to just give you a few pointers that are super important, seem super simple, but oh my goodness, it can make the biggest difference. And I just believe that this year is going to be better for closure packets than what we were dealing with last year because of just getting better information out to you all, making things more accessible to answer your questions. So looking, for those of you who can see my screen, I'm going to go ahead and switch to this overview page of just a few things that are simple, but blue and black ink, hugely important. If you would please make sure to have blue and black ink at your drop-off locations, not pencils, for the donors to fill out their drop-off logs and their short-term volunteer forms for those that are coming and volunteering with you. Because we have to scan all of this paper that is coming to us, and pencil does not scan well, and so that presents a problem on our end. So using blue or black ink, make sure for relay centers your location code is on everything that you're turning in, and that is the letter R plus, oops, sorry, as a pop-up box came up, plus the zip code. So just R and your zip code is what we're looking for in location code on everything. Please just use the forms that we send you. Last year, I cannot tell you how many homemade forms I was receiving from all over the region. And our forms are set up the way that they are for a reason. They're asking for the data in a certain order for a reason. And so even if you think, well, I've got everything on here, I promise you it is such a blessing to me and my team, and it will make our job faster and easier if you just send us the forms that you've received from the ministry for this year. Don't go off of copies from forms for last year. Boone has changed some of the paperwork, and so you want to have the most recent for this year. Very important forms that need to be dated are dated, especially drop-off logs. So if we've got questions on things, things can be gone through and synced with what actually happened on what date, if box counts are off, or things like that. For just the paper, don't staple, don't tape, don't cut papers in half. I cannot tell you how huge that is, especially for the drop-off logs. They have that line in it because, yes, one donor puts it on the top, one donor puts it on the bottom. But so many people cut these papers, and my team seriously had to tape them to whole sheets of paper last year to be able to feed them through the scanner. And so you can imagine just the time waster that is when we don't have any time to waste, for sure. So we really appreciate you just paying attention to these types of details. Please do keep a copy of everything that you turn into your collection center. In the event that anything is lost in transit to us, we want to make sure that you all have a copy in case we have to make a phone call and say, can you please help us out? Something got lost on UPS or whatever when it was getting shipped to us. So important dates that I want to bring to your attention. The closure packet must be given to the collection center at the end of National Collection Week. In the folder that is provided by the ministry, please have all the papers together. Paper clips are fine, but just no staples or anything like we mentioned. That will really help. And then those typed Excel drop-off logs, the deadline for emailing those to your collection center coordinator or the designated point of contact for your area is November 23rd, because then they have another piece they have to do to then get it to me after they get it from you. And then I have something I have to do. So it's all this link of a chain. So by everybody doing their part, we'll be able to complete everything on time. Looking at the next sheet here on the screen, the summary sheet, you all get this in your packets, and this is one of the most important pieces of paper to me because it gives me the snapshot of everything that's happened at your drop-off location for the week. So the totals for the daily shoe boxes, totals need to match your carton counts, your tally sheets, everything should match. And if something is not matching on your end, please go back and do your absolute best to figure out what is not matching before you take it to the collection center so that you're turning in accurate paperwork to them and not creating an issue for them to try to figure out, because remember, they've got multiple relay centers feeding into them. So that grand total is very important. The number of volunteers and their volunteer hours is very important. What we are doing with that is we have to report on our financials as far as a ministry, volunteers that serve with us, hours of service for things like this. This is not just an empty number we're just trying to get for the fun of it. It's very practical. And what happens if that number is not on that summary sheet, my team is going through the volunteer short-term volunteer forms that we're receiving, and we're literally having to count pieces of paper and count the number of hours because it has to be on the report that we're sending to Boone. So you can imagine if I even have half of the relay centers missing one of those blanks, how much time that is when we're talking about 300 plus locations. The total cartons used and other cartons used, we want to know that stuff as we're looking at carton allotments for next year. So that feedback is helpful to us. So those are some important things that are on that form there. Now moving on to the next page is the drop-off log. I've already touched on this some, the importance of legibility on this is extremely important. Some drop-off locations have one person who's assisting the donors. They're asking for the information and they've got one person writing it down so that all the blanks get filled in and it's good penmanship so that when you go to type up those drop-off logs, you can actually read what you're typing, because your area teams are using the information off of this for all sorts of ministry purposes throughout the year, as well as our office is using it. This is a tool for us to get information out to people who obviously have an interest in Operation Christmas Child because they're bringing shoeboxes to your location. And we want to let them know about area team events that are going on, prayer opportunities, different things that are going on at the team level. And this is one of our best sources for this data. So it's very important. And every blank on there has a purpose. So try to get, if you don't have a single person helping the donors with filling this information out, try to just at least glance at what the donors are turning in. And if it's not very complete, get them to fill it out. Now, if somebody wants to remain anonymous, we respect that, and then you just write anonymous and get the shoebox count. But I'm talking about if someone's filling out the data, then try to make sure that they're filling out all of the data if they're willing to share their data with us. So again, make sure dates and location codes are on these forms, and do not cut them is one of the most important things for what we're doing in the office. Now, short-term volunteer information form is the next one. And again, location code on there. We've already talked about the importance of this. Every single person, if it is a high school group of 25 kids that come over from the football team to help load boxes for 1 hour, one day, we need this form from each of those students. I had a ton of stuff turned into me last year that was like, well, we had a group of 20, but we've got nothing documenting who they are, hours, anything. And so that's just really important. If they're coming to serve, have them take a couple of minutes to fill this out either in advance because you're sending that email to your short-term volunteers beforehand to provide the form, or if they forget it, get them to do it as soon as they show up at your drop-off location, and that'll really help us out. And then the Excel drop-off logs, I've just got the instructions here in this with a little snapshot of what the spreadsheet looks like column-wise. I have tried my best to go through and give pretty explicit instructions, being very specific about what we need on this. Please use the drop-off log template that was emailed, the Excel spreadsheet that was emailed out to the teams this year. Please use that specifically. We made a tweak to it from last year that's going to help us a lot with what we're doing by making the church group or individual column a drop-down menu, where instead of people typing in whatever they want to type, they have to pick one of those three things. And so you can educate whoever's serving at your drop-off location by typing these up. The importance of that is because we're sorting this data by that column a lot. So if we have things that are not like each other, we can't sort by it, and then we can't use it as well for the purposes that we're trying to use it for, to get the word out about events, to grow shoeboxes and grow participation, gain new year-round volunteers, all the things that we're seeking to do with this data. So that is very important. And if you have questions about anything, because I know I'm flying through this because 15 minutes goes fast when you're talking about details, but I hope I've been clear and specific. For those of you on the phone, like I said, you should have this. Or what I'm going to do also, I thought, is I'm just going to include this as an attachment on the email that I send out to everyone with the link to listen to the call. If you have questions, please ask your collection center coordinator, your network coordinator, your area coordinator. And we are here also at the regional office. Believe me, I would rather answer a question now and help you know how to do it right than have somebody too scared to ask a question and then we've got problems on the back end of things. And so I'm here as your support and your partner as well. You've got your area team as your first go-to, but area team leaders that are on this call, you know I'm here to do everything that I can to make what you're doing in your local areas as smooth as possible. So I just want to say thank you so much for the time, the passion, the sacrifices that you all are making to serve with us for National Collection Week. We are so blessed to have you as volunteers, and I sincerely mean that. I think we've got the best volunteers in the world, and I'm just feel blessed to get to serve alongside you. So I am going to pray us out so that we'll be done within our 20 minutes and just ask the Lord's blessing as we move forward and let you all get back to the rest of your day. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, I thank you for this brief time that we've had together, God. Thank you for these precious, precious people who love you and love this ministry and want to serve you and want to serve you well, God. And I just pray that you would bless everything that their hands are touching for this season, Lord, that they would have much joy from their opportunity to serve in their communities. And God, that so many lives would be changed both on this side of the box and all over the world because of what you're doing. We just praise you for this blessing to get to serve together, and thank you for saving us and bringing us to know you so that we can share you with others. And I just pray your blessing on all of these volunteers, those that are on this call and that couldn't be with us in person today, that you would give them an amazing National Collection Week together with their teams. And thank you for them. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, guys. Thanks so much. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thanks, Wendy. Good job.
Wendy.
Thank you.
Wendy, can I ask a question?
Yes, I will stay on and answer any questions that anybody's got.
Okay, this is Corey Green from Hoover, Green Valley.
Yes.
Will we get the past participant logs like we have in the past?
Good question. No, the ministry decided nationwide to stop using the past participating drop-off logs this year. There were so many data issues and different things going on with it that we're just asking that every donor just complete the regular drop-off logs this year.
Okay, so my question, the only reason I really liked that was like for my church specifically, like we collect on Sunday, and I count that as a Monday collection date, but there's always stragglers that come in during the week, so, and I just would lump them all, I would put them on each day so that church members didn't have to fill out a log if they were just dropping off a box. So I guess now I'll have to ask them to fill out a log.
I'm tracking with what you're saying. You're talking about church members at your church. The best practice would be, yes, to have them each fill out an individual log. If, however, they're all bringing donations to your church and you want to list it under your church, that is an option. It's no different than a church collecting boxes like my church is going to do, and then we're driving to a relay center and we're going to enter them as Grace Church with the total number.
So we do that on Monday, the total, but then if, Kathy brings in 5 boxes on Wednesday, I would, different people would bring in boxes. I might have 8, 10 boxes a day that would come in during collection week. I would just
get those individual
log and then
donors.
Have a total at the end.
Yeah, I would say as much as you can, try to get those individual donors to fill it out.
Okay. I just have to retrain the people that are
used to having it the old way. Certainly understand, and we appreciate your flexibility as that decision was made for across the nation this year, not something that we did here.
Okay.
Or you can just keep a running total. I sort of did that last year, just kept a running total, and then, put the total of our church.
But that messes up your daily number, I guess. That's the thing.
Not really. It's all... I mean, as long as you can keep up with it,
The accuracy of making sure the boxes are counted, and we do want to be accurate as much as we can on what day that they're coming in, because they're going to be going in cartons that day. And so, yes, trying to just see if people will just take that extra 2 minutes to fill that form out. That would be the best thing to do.
Okay.
Is it not okay just to have a sheet from your particular church more than one day?
You could do that. What would help us is when you go on the type drop-off logs, is if you combine all of that together, though, so that because if it's all entered separately on the typed drop-off logs, then it looks like 5 more churches. If somebody says it's FBC something, somebody writes it's First Baptist Church something, when you sort it, they're not all next to each other. If that makes
But on
sense.
the Excel,
Yes.
will it have the different days of the week like it has in the past?
The Excel drop-off log is just for the actual total from different entities, so the date on that doesn't matter as much.
Okay, I have not received the Excel drop-off log new version. All I have received is a copy of what I submitted last year. So when will I receive the new Excel drop-off log email?
What I'm going to do, because I'm betting if that's happened to you, you're not the only one, I'm going to go ahead and attach that drop-off log to the email that I send out with the link for this call. So it'll be the link for this call, all the information that we just went over, plus the Excel drop-off log template.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Cool.
Wendy, this is Susan McGinnis
Hey,
at
Susan.
Somerville. Hi. I didn't get that Excel thing either.
Okay, so yeah, I'm going to make that go out to everybody that received the invite for this call. So every Relay Center coordinator, it's going to go to everybody just to make sure we've got our bases covered.
And also, I didn't get any. I was just going through the stuff as you were talking from my boxes, stuff for the closure packet and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I have 2 sets of shoebox drop-off logs, tons of those, but I didn't get any volunteer forms at all.
Okay, yeah, that is definitely a packing error when your box was put together. Let me ask you this. Are you at a church where you can make copies?
Yeah, I can make copies, but I don't have a form.
Okay, well, what I was going to say, instead of having Boone spend the money to ship something that's going to be heavy to get them to you, what I could do is attach that form, and then if you're able to make copies at the church, we can do it that way.
That'll be fine. I can do that.
Okay, perfect.
And I just happened to notice that I was digging through that box, and I thought, oh, no, there's no volunteer forms in here.
Yes,
anyway.
that was a good catch. Well, and that, I think what I'll do is just add the forms that you all need onto this same email, and it'll be one-stop shopping for every Relay Center coordinator to have everything that they need just for any misses that happen like that.
Okay, that sounds great. Thank you so much.
And, I think you all hopefully know the forms are on the extranet also. So they can be downloaded from there, but since I'm sending the email anyway, I'm just going to make it simple for y'all.
Okay, that sounds wonderful.
Okay.
All right, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Wendy,
Yes.
I have a question.
Yes.
I'm Carol. I'm from Grace Fellowship in Atmore, and we are running a relay center and a collection center at the same location. So I'm looking at my closure packet envelope, and I understand the relay center. I've done all that before. On my collection center, when it says what all to include, it says volunteer forms and drop-off logs. Is that supposed to be, because that would be one and the same for me. The same people that work at my relay center is obviously the collection center. So what drop-off logs and what volunteer forms are you wanting in that?
Yeah, the best way I can explain it to you is think of yourself as functioning as a collection center with the additional support of somebody helping you as a relay center type coordinator. Like, we only need from anywhere that's a collection center, you want to go by the collection center packet. You're going to have a summary sheet for the collection center and then your collection network summary sheet for your whole region. All your drop-off logs go together. All your short-term volunteer forms go together. There's no differentiation between the two for what you're sending to me.
Because each relay center is going to hand me their own packet. So they're going to have all their drop-off logs and all their volunteer forms. And I have my relay center stuff. So then I don't need to redo those same volunteer forms and drop-off logs and put them in my collection center. Is that correct?
Correct. You're basically sending me a collection center packet that's including everything for your center, and then all the other relay centers are handing you stuff in a folder, and you're just putting all of those envelope folders in with. So your stuff is one set, and theirs are each individual.
Okay, excellent. And also it says questionnaire on there. Is that something that you can attach to that email as well? Because I'm not laying my hands on a questionnaire that I got. I'm not sure where that is. Yes,
good question. We found out after the fact that the questionnaire, There is not one for relay centers this year. I think that the collection center questionnaire was supposed to come in your packet with like your bills of lading and all of that. So there should be one.
Oh, okay. Let me see. Okay, yes. Okay, it is. I just looked in that envelope. Yes, it is. 2016 Collection Center questionnaire. That's what goes in there. Okay.
So that's all you need is a collection center, and then no relay centers have questionnaires this year.
Okay. Great.
Okay.
All right. Well, very good. Then I think I got all of that. Excellent.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Does anybody else hanging on still have a question?
Well, I have one more note. I'm looking in my, I just got this packet that had the questionnaire in it. What is the little Ziploc bag with the bolts and stuff? Is that for the truck? Is that for the lock?
Yes.
It's like a Ziploc bag with several bolts in it. And
right. The bolt seals for the trucks. Yes.
That's what that's for? Okay. It has the bill of lading in it and all of that.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Very good.
Yeah, that
Thank
part
you so
is
much.
just for the collection centers that are getting the actual tractor trailers from us. So yeah.
Okay. And then the label with your name on it in a big, so I'm putting all of my Relay Center packet envelope and my Collection Center packet envelope in this one big one, putting this label on it and mailing it to you.
You are correct. Yes. That's
Okay.
what we need.
All right. This is my first year to do
Yeah.
collection, so I'm new to this.
Hey, I think you're doing good with understanding it. And yeah, that's the envelope that you're going to ship to me with a ship date of no later than November 23rd.
November 23rd. Okay.
Okay, because they're
All right,
going to
I
have
can do
everything
that.
to you by the 21st, and then you have until the 23rd to get that envelope in the mail to me.
Okay.
Okay?
All right. Very good. Thank you so much, Wendy. I appreciate your help.
Okay, you're welcome. Is there anyone else still hanging on this call that has a question?
No question for me. I'm just
Okay.
hanging on with-
All right. Well, thank you for joining. If nobody else has any questions, y'all have a wonderful day, and I will close out the call.
Thanks, Wendy. Good job.
Thank you. Have a good one. Bye-bye.